India-US defense ties are here to stay as the Pentagon has reaffirmed its commitment to boosting military ties with India. At a time when US and China defense chiefs were holding a meeting amidst soaring South China Sea tensions, the Pentagon's Deputy Press Secretary stated, quote, "You've seen a deepening of cooperation and ties between our militaries." The Secretary has hosted delegations from India here in the Pentagon and, of course, travelled overseas to meet with his counterparts. So you've certainly seen a growing, deepening partnership and our militaries engaged in exercises, unquote. Earlier this year, the Indian Army Chief visited US Defense and Intelligence Headquarters in the Pentagon, while a major India-US defense production facility will be set up in India for the GE-414 engines to power India's indigenous Tejas fighter jets. But the only question is, even with deepening defense ties between the world's two largest democracies, can India and USA contain the threat of an expansionist China? Xi Jinping's PLA has made its intentions quite clear by simulating multiple invasions of Taiwan. US Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin met his Chinese counterpart Gong Jun on the sidelines of the Shangri-La Defense Summit. Now, this was the first in-person interaction of US and China defense chiefs since 2022. Locking horns with Beijing, Lloyd Austin raised concerns over PLA's growing military activity in the South China Sea region, including now the threat of arrest and use of force against fishermen of neighboring nations, including the Philippines, in its own territorial waters. However, the real worry were the just concluded PLA war games in Taiwan Strait, where the Chinese military once again simulated an attack and grabbing power in the rebel island nation. Air Force Major General Patrick Ryder said in a statement, quote, "The Secretary expressed concern about the recent provocative PLA activity around the Taiwan Strait, and he reiterated that the PRC should not use Taiwan's political transition, part of a normal routine democratic process, as a pretext for coercive measures," unquote. Beijing responded by saying that Washington's military backing of Taiwan had seriously violated the One China principle. The Chinese drills were codenamed punishment for so-called separatist acts. Clearly, the PLA does not believe in subtlety. With these drills, Xi Jinping's CCP is sending a loud and clear message. It wants the USA and the world to believe that the PLA is ready to invade Taiwan at a time of their choosing. So what does China gain by constantly throwing fuel into the fire rather than seek a diplomatic solution? China's growing belligerence along the line of actual control and the South China Sea poses a big threat to India. The United States has initiated increased military cooperation with India, which is China's most powerful regional rival and a global superpower in its own right, with the world's fourth largest military and soon to be the third biggest economy. India is also the world's largest arms importer since the 1990s and a huge potential market for US defense behemoths. US Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin said on the 12th of April, quote, "Bolstering the Indian military's capabilities, the two nations can work together to uphold a more stable balance of power across the wider Indo-Pacific region." As part of a major defense partnership with India, both countries are accelerating joint exercises, intelligence sharing, and maritime cooperation. The Pentagon remarks come at a time when both nations, the US and India, are showing red flags to China, quite literally. Indian Air Force's 8 Rafale jets are participating in the prestigious multinational exercise Red Flag 2024 being held in Alaska, US. Amid escalating tensions with China, these defense exercises will enhance combat readiness and interoperability between the IAF and the US Air Force. According to reports, the IAF Rafales may get a chance to train with the F-35 stealth fighters for the first time. This should give IAF invaluable lessons on Chinese J-20, as the PLA has deployed its stealth fighters just 150 kilometers from the Indian border in Sikkim. Last year, US B-1B bombers made their debut in the Cope India bilateral air exercise held at Kalaikunda Air Force Station in West Bengal. At a congressional hearing on the Indo-Pacific in April, the chief of US Indo-Pacific Command, Admiral John Aquilino, highlighted, quote, "We conducted the largest ever bilateral joint amphibious exercise with India, Tiger Triumph, improving our cooperation on maritime domain awareness and strengthening service-to-service ties." The two nations also signed multiple pacts on ship repair and maintenance. This enables American vessels to quickly return to the South China Sea theater instead of sailing half the way across the world through the Pacific. Moreover, all fuselages of the Apache attack helicopter are being manufactured at the Tata Boeing Aerospace facility in India. Let's keep in mind that the United States is approaching India with a two-pronged strategy. First, lean India away from the dependence on Russia for weapons, and second, support India as it faces the threat of a two-front war from China and Pakistan. It is in both countries' interest to help India maintain its dominance as the premier naval force in the Indian Ocean region as well as a key player in the Indo-Pacific. Leave a comment, hit the like button, and remember to subscribe to Inconnect News.